Very good morning, students. A Sunday morning, trust me, I think it has been ages since I taught on a Sunday morning. Anyways, so all of you are ready, and I can see that you already had one lecture. So outstanding, guys. Already attended one session, and now another session. You all will be CS. Okay, so on this note, good morning, Aishwarya. Good morning, Mansi. Good morning, Aditya. Good morning, Shobha. Good morning, Shaurya. And good morning to everybody. Good morning to each one of you. I can see there is like, ma'am, please take illustration 11. Mansi, you need to tell me the start of the illustration because I could not get the new PDF. In fact, I did not have the time to see that because the PDF, which you guys have. I have a 6 months old PDF, I think so. Okay. Anyways, so let us, Mohini, practice questions are not uploaded on the portal. No, they are uploaded. But for service and marginal costing, they'll be uploaded. I've already given them, so maybe ICAI will upload it maybe tomorrow, Monday. Very good morning, Brinda, Christina, everybody. Now, so on this note, I start. So I first try to take up illustration 11, but actually we had touched upon a hotel till yesterday. I would like to take upon a hospital sum and then maybe go down to a finance organization and then a sum from each of the organizations has been listed and done by ICAI. I would like to do that, right? So I would really request whoever asked me, please, if at all, I will first check on the volume. Volume is 100%. Okay. So we'll go as per the various service industries and try to do the sums, right? And illustration 11, which you're telling me, Beta, you need to tell me the name of the sum. So any doubt, first of all, anything which you want to ask me? Anything which you want to ask me? If no, can we start up with a sum? So yesterday we covered a hotel industry. Today, let us look into a hospital. Let us look into an insurance or finance company, a transport industry. Let us do 2, 3, 4 more sums. 8 marks are like freezed. So I share the screen with you. And today we take up okay. So I take up a hotel. I take up the hotel industry, right? No, hospital. Sorry, not hotel, hospital. Hotel we did yesterday. So we'll take up a hospital. So let's take up a hospital sum. Okay, your illustration AD higher secondary school. Let me check if there is a higher secondary school sum there in the material which I have. Or give me a moment. I will. Oh, thank you so much, Vijay Shankar. I will just ask for the PDF of. Okay. So I shall be getting it fast. So till then, Mansi, just hold on for a minute. Can we do it? I do not know whether this is NT live. I do not know what is the meaning of that. Okay. Can we do hospital? And I would like to do illustration 8. The name of the sum is ABC Hospital. ABC Hospital runs a critical care unit. ABC Hospital runs critical care unit. This is the name of the sum. So please look into it. Mohini, I've already sent the sums of the previous chapters which we had done. So they must be uploaded. I will check it out with the ICAI personnel. And if they are not uploaded, I will request them to do that. And the 2 chapters, that is service costing and marginal costing, questions along with answers, Institute will upload it by tomorrow. So you will have all the questions. And yes, after today, I'm there with you guys for 2 more days. So you can always ask me any questions or any doubts. Okay. Now, please tell me, is this the question? ABC Hospital Critical Care Unit. You have this question. In me, it is illustration 8. If yes, please tell me that yes, this is illustration 8. This is costing of hospitals. This is costing of hospitals. Can you send it to me, please? Have the PDF. Can we start? And I will be able to look at the sum which Mansi has asked me to do it. Okay. At first, it is illustration 8 only in your textbooks. So let us do it. Every one of us, let us read the sums. ABC Hospital runs a critical care unit, is a hired building. CCU consists of 35 beds and 5 more beds can be added if required. So rent, they have given us supervisor, nurses, ward boys, doctors. Now all this is standing salary, or you can say fixed salary. Thank you so much, guys. I called for the new PDF, right, from my office. Other expenses for the year are, they've given us repairs, food to the patients. Institute has been nice enough to keep on telling you which expenses are variable and which expenses are fixed. Other fixed expenses they've given me, administration expenses allocated. Okay. Now, it was estimated. Now, first thing we are going to do is, as we have always understood that it is easy to make up a cost sheet. You can just put up all the expenses as per the information given. I need to find out my divisionary unit. So the information begins now. It was estimated that 150 days in a year, 35 beds are occupied, and for 80 days, only 25 beds are occupied. The hospital hired 750 beds at a charge of 100 rupees per day per bed to accommodate the flow of patients. However, this does not exceed more than 5 extra beds over and above the normal capacity of 35 beds on any day. We are supposed to calculate the profit per patient day, and we are supposed to find out a break even. Okay. Now, before I start doing this particular question, I would like to explain you the concept of break even. This I will be teaching in my next lecture. We'll be touching upon in marginal costing, we'll be doing that. But let us understand. The word break even would mean no profit, no loss. No profit, no loss. No profit, no loss means you earn enough. Look at my words. You earn enough so that all your expenses are covered up. Yes or no? That will be a point where no profit, no loss, right? This will also help you because we are going to do marginal costing soon on 17th of April. Now the question is, fixed costs have no nexus. I'm rubbing the board. Fixed costs have no nexus to production. They are period cost, or on the other hand, variable costs are costs which move, means after covering my variable cost, I'm left with 6 rupees. Now, how many units I produce? How many units I produce so that my fixed costs get recovered? If my fixed costs are 6 lakhs, can you tell me, please, all of you? I will wait. Can you tell me? I repeat what I said. Fixed costs are period costs, right? They have no nexus to production. So whether I produce 1 unit or I produce up to my maximum capacity, my fixed costs will remain the same, right? But my variable costs actually move with the production. If I produce 1 unit, I need to incur variable cost. I produce 2 units, I need to incur the variable cost. That means if I produce 10,000 units, I need to incur variable costs for 10,000 units. Now that's a characteristic of a variable cost, right? So what did I do? I said, okay, since variable cost moves with production, if my selling price happens to be 10 and my variable cost per unit happens to be 4, then basically after covering my variable cost, I am getting 6 rupees. No audio? Ma'am, voice is breaking. Okay. Give me a moment. I will check out with the ICAI personnel. Guys, give 2 minutes. बट बच्चे बोल रहे हैं कि वॉइस इज ब्रेकिंग एंड उनको वर्किंग भी नहीं दिख रही. दे आर नॉट एबल टू सी द वर्किंग विच आई एम डूइंग ऑन द स्क्रीन. So this is the whiteboard, and how come they are not able to see? So can you check it? It's visible. Uh, so students, can you please check it out, because I have been told that the working is also visible and my voice is also audible. So if it is, I think the problem is at your end. Can you just look into it? So I continue teaching. ठीक है जी? मैं पढ़ाना चालू रखती हूँ. हाँ जी? Okay. So guys, I am continuing teaching. Okay, it is clear. Okay, it's fine now. Okay, fair enough. So I repeat my question again to you, right? Video is also showing the contents after a long time. Now, Charu, that could be because of the technology, because of the lag of speed or whatever. I do not know. It's a Sunday morning. I think everybody would be watching movies and everything. So I don't know. Just on a lighter note. So it's okay, Charu. Okay, you re-see my video once it is uploaded on the YouTube. Okay, now, okay. So now I repeat what I asked you. I said fixed costs are period costs. Fixed costs are period costs. They have got nothing to do with production. but my variable costs move with production. So if I say that my selling price of my good is 10 rupees, and for producing one good, one unit of a good, I need to incur variable costs. Now, variable cost means variable cost of production or variable cost of selling. All variable costs put together, my variable costs are 4. So that means by selling one unit, I am able to earn 6 rupees, right? Now, my question to you is, how many units should I sell so that if I have fixed costs of 6 lakh rupees, I'll be able to cover up? Mancha, I'm not looking out for any formula. Can you just tell me the way I've asked you? Right? Can you just tell me that how many units do I need to sell in order that my fixed costs get covered? Can anybody tell me? Now I want the answer. I don't want audio is visible or audible and video is visible. Nothing. So I repeated it, Vrinda. Can you tell me the answer, please? Okay. So till the time I receive the answers, I know there's a lag. So let me put it. I told you what is break even. What is break even? Break even is where my total cost equals my revenue. That means I earn so much that my total cost equals, right? Okay. Now, wonderful answer, Kunal. Wonderful, 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 right? 10 lakh units, Vasudha? No, not 10 lakh units. It's 1 lakh units. So that means variable cost is per unit. Fixed costs are period costs. Now, total variable cost and my total fixed cost is my total cost. If my total revenue is equivalent to this, I will break even. So what solution I discovered for this? I said, okay, if my selling price is 10 and my variable cost per unit is 4, that means I'm earning 6 rupees per unit. If my fixed cost happens to be 6 lakhs, then if I sell 1 lakh units, I will have just enough revenue that all my variable and fixed costs are covered. Let us check it out. This is a formula, but let us check it out. Whatever we have calculated is correct or not. So let us do it. I'm rubbing my screen. Okay. So if I sell 1 lakh units, what will be the revenue I'll get? 1 lakh. My total cost would be, since I have produced and sold 1 lakh units, my variable cost will be 1 lakh into 4, which is 4 lakhs. And my fixed cost is 6 lakhs. That means 10 lakhs. So that means my answer was correct, that at 1 lakh units, if I sell 1 lakh units, the revenue which I'm going to get is going to be equal to the total fixed cost and the variable cost which I'm going to incur. So this is a situation of no profit, no loss. So I hope you are very clear with this word break even. Now, when I'm going to teach you marginal costing, I will not reiterate, right? Okay. Now let's go down to this particular sum. How do we start this sum? First of all, I need to calculate my patient days because dictionary unit. So they say that it was estimated that 150 days in a year, 35 beds are occupied. Okay. So 150 into 35. So 150 into 35, it is 5250 beds. You can calculate and check out that ICAI has not done any printing errors. That's 5250. Then they said we need 80 days, I need 25 beds. Okay, fair enough. So 80 days into 25 beds, 2000 beds. Okay. Then they said, however, the hospital hired 750 beds at a charge of 100 per day per bed per day. Now, in this particular question, they had made it very clear that the CCU consisted of 35 beds. So technically, 35 beds were occupied for 150 days, right? 25 of those beds were occupied for 80 days. That means how many days are there in my whole year? In my whole year, I have got 360, but they have not emphasized on the number of days in a year. They have themselves told me that for 150 days, 35 beds are occupied. For 80 days, 25 beds are occupied. And then they are saying the hospital is hiring 750 beds at a charge of 100 per day, per bed per day. Right. And they said, however, this does not exceed more than 5 extra beds over and above the normal capacity of 35 beds on any days. Does this confuse you? Does this line confuse you? Does this line confuse you? You are like, okay, if it is not more than the capacity of 30, then why have they hired? Or what is the logic behind it? Do I need to get into it? He's like, I do not know the number of days. The English says this does not exceed more than 5 extra beds over and above the normal capacity. That means 5 beds into the days multiplied by the days will give me the maximum I could have hired. That's what they are trying to say. But looking at the sum, I feel that I am using only 35 beds for 150 days, though I have 35 beds. Then 80 days, they're only using 25 beds. That means 10 of my beds are empty. All these questions are coming to your mind. Just a thought. I'm just asking that how is it possible? Why do they need to hire the bed? Why do they need to hire the bed? Do you want to think about it? Do you want to brainstorm that why ICAI has given me like this? When we have got, is there anything in the question which is written? It says a critical care unit is a hired building. CCU consists of 35 beds and 5 more beds can be added. And they have given me some information, right? And then they have directly told me it was estimated that 150 days in a year, 35 beds are occupied. 80 days, only 25 beds are occupied. Hospital hires 750 beds at a charge of 100 per day per bed. They accommodate the flow of patients. However, this does not exceed more than 5 extra beds over and above the normal capacity of 35 beds on any day. Somewhere, this information, by writing this line that, however, this does not exceed more than 5 extra beds, creates little more of confusion. But the question is, what do I do? Do I know the number of days in a year? Do I know the number of days in a year? But I definitely know that they have hired 750 beds. So keeping this into mind, I get out with Jamil. I knew this because I have been dealing with this particular thing from, I don't know, from how much time that the students are like, ma'am, why should we calculate it like this? My question to the students is, what other way do you have? What other way do you have? If ICAI would have given me that I have got 360 days in a year and I have got 35 beds, right? And I can hire 5 more beds if required, then I would have done the question like this, that, okay, 360 days into 35, all the 360 days, my 35 beds would have been occupied. And in order to accommodate my extra patients, I can hire 5 more beds in a day. And if, say, I want to hire it for 150 days, my question would have been sorted out. Yes. But the question is, here in this question, I do not know the number of days in a year they want to assume. It is 365 days, or the hospital is working for 300 days or 360 days. I do not know. So Jamil, best. According to me, 5 into 15, 150 days is 750. And However, this does not exceed more than 5 extra beds over and above the normal capacity of 35. This would mean that anyways, this organization could have hired not more than 5 beds, right? This is the information which is given up. That CCU and 5 more beds can be added if required. That means they can hire not more than 5 more beds. So maybe this is the answer of those 5 more beds which they can hire, because they can't have more than 5 beds. So ICAI, by writing this, has made it very clear that we are not hiring more than what extra we can go above our normal capacity. Fair enough. It's okay that for a few days only 25 beds were. So maybe at that particular time, when we are sitting and doing the sum at the end of the year, right? But when the year begins, maybe at the beginning of the year, only 25 beds were occupied, and this happened for 80 days. After that, immediately there was a flux of patients, and all my 35 beds were hired, right? And then I needed some extra beds, so I hired the extra beds. Now I hope your confusion is sorted out. I repeat what I said. This is looking wrong to us because we are saying that, oh, there are 25 beds only occupied. So why couldn't they have hired 10 more beds of their normal capacity? This is a service industry, guys. This is a service industry. There, maybe when the hospital started their work in the beginning of the year, only 25 beds were being hired. There were lesser patients, and this happened for 80 days. And after 80 days, immediately there was a flux of patients. So all my 35 beds were occupied. And then more patients coming in. My 35 beds were occupied. I was already working at my normal capacity. And what did I do? I had to hire the bed. So I think I have sorted out your confusion. ICAI is not wrong. The sum is correct. You need to visualize that how this thing would have become possible. Here, that how do we calculate patient days? How do we calculate the patient days? If yes, please. Now that's my calculation, Shaurya. This is not what I've explained you. What did I explain you? Students, when they come to me, they are like, mention that why do we need to hire for you, right? ICAI has given to you. Has everybody understood? If yes, please let me know. If no, I'll explain again. So when we total this up, we get out with 8,000 patients per day. So that is the reason why we need to, this is an easy chapter, but where people go wrong. Okay, Jamil, so finally got it. I'm so happy. See, it's all about logics and concepts. Most of the CS students, being very honest, guys, I would like to really stop and talk here. Most of you students are always running after some kind of mathematical ease. Let me be very honest. You tell me you are going to be chartered accountants. You are going to face problems real time. And we have computers and laptops and everything to solve our mathematical problems. Nowadays, things are so fast, you just need to feed in the figure and things get calculated. Formulas are already fed in. So we are not looking at, when you say you're a chartered accountant, we are not looking at that mathematical ease. We are looking at the fact that, do you understand a problem? And will you be able to solve a problem? So guys, develop that skill in you. I could have done this question in just 10 minutes and just walked off. For me, mathematically doing this sum is not important. For me, what is important is, did you get the background that why Institute has taken so much of pains that they have printed for a hospital separately, they have printed for a transport industry separately, they have printed for a finance company separately, for a holiday home separately, because you need to understand that how does each service industry operate. Everybody says service costing is very easy. Of course it's easy. You need to just put in all the expenses, but then putting all expenses, but what will I divide with? And then the student comes in, ma'am, everything was right. All my calculations were right. only I did a mistake in this, but that only mistake can be the reason that institute has put in 5 marks for only that. Here, these patient days is the most crucial figure, right? So I hope you have understood what I'm trying to tell you. Every subject that you're reading, think you're a chartered accountant. Trust me, the studies will be so much easier and you are going to be a CA. So on this note, a Sunday morning, I felt like telling you that what is the problem I keep on facing. So I hope everybody is now very clear. Thank you so much that each one is writing. Aishwarya got it a bit. Aishwarya, explain it to you again. Imagine a hospital, right? When the hospital begins, okay, this COVID time. Today, sitting now in the month of, February, March, we were hearing no beds, no beds. But when this COVID started, April, May, the beds were available because the problem had just started. And then as the number of patients started increasing, the problem of availability, non-availability of the beds started. So maybe at the beginning of the year, this hospital, only 25 beds were being occupied. And thereafter, full 35 beds were being occupied. And still we were not able to cover up the extra flow of patients. So we had to hire. So that's the logic which explains. So it's not confusing. Okay, now doing this sum. So my work is done. What is it that I wanted to put in? Can I put in the first part? They want that how much should we charge from a patient? Let's make the sheet. So I make the cost sheet. You can call it a profitability sheet because you're going to add up the profit as well. So you may call it a profitability sheet. If you are only going to put up the cost, you can put the name as cost sheet. Since I'm going to add up the profit, because you want me to explain again, okay, because I do it for you. Because this is a hospital. ABC hospital. 1st April. Right? They have got 35 beds. Right? Now, occupancy will depend upon how the patients will flow in. Now, for the first 80 days, only 25 patients were there to whom I had to give the bed. I hope I'm very clear. Right? Is that very clear? 25 patients were there. So 25 beds were occupied. After that, there is an immediate surge in the illness and 35 patients start coming in. That means after 80 days, we realize 150 days, all my 35 beds are occupied. But now I'm getting more patients. Besides 35, I'm getting more patients. But this hospital can only hire 5 beds in a day. It can only accommodate 5 more beds, more than its normal capacity. It did hire those beds because now patients were actually coming in, right? So what do I do? What do I do? Now, if you'll actually look at it, simple question from all of you. How many days maximum can be there in a year? 365, right? So 80 days, 25 patients, 150 days is how many? 230 days. How many days I'm left? How many days are left? Maximum 365 minus 230. How many days? 135. Right? 135 days. So you tell me, if I could have hired 5 more beds, then maximum beds I could have hired would have been 135 into 5, it should have been 675. But it is not essential, no, that I'm hiring extra beds on those specific days only. It may be along with it, those days when I'm working, I need to hire those beds. It could be anything. And then every day the hospital is not working for 365 days. There are some holidays, anything. But even if I'm assuming, but whatever said and done, what you need to understand is ICAI made it very clear that boss, 150 days, 35, all my 35 beds were occupied. For 80 days, 25 beds were only occupied. But then I had to hire extra beds. So it is not essential because that on the same day when all my 35 beds are occupied, one more patient can walk in now. So when one more patient walks in, I need to hire the bed. So when I hire the bed, I need to pay that higher charges. But they are very clear that on any particular day, I have never hired more than my normal capacity. So am I clear now, Vikash? I think. Okay. So Bharat, Vikash, I think I have explained it now. जिस दिन तुम्हारा 35 पेशेंट्स है उस दिन एक और पेशेंट या दो और पेशेंट्स भी तो आ सकते हैं. So the day when you are already having 35 patients in the hospital, you can still need to have a bed for 2 more patients which walk in, and you'll have to hire. So there is no confusion at all, right? So my patient days have been calculated. I make my profitability sheet, right? Because I call it a profitability sheet. Why? Because I will be putting my revenue. I'll be putting in my revenue and profit, right? Thank you so much, Mansi. So income which we are charging is, they have been very clear, and an average per day from each patient, they are recovering 2,000 rupees. So if there are 2,000 patients and 8,000 patient days, so what is the revenue you'll be earning? 2,000 into 8,000. So which is going to be how many zeros? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 16. Yes. These are zeros, right? So we have got 1.6 CR, and then we put in all the expenses. You can put in all the fixed costs and the variable costs, but I never put in a heading. So I'll just put in all the expenses. My expenses are, we have got rent per month, which is 75,000 per month. So I'll put in the yearly figure, which is, thank you so much, Priyanka. It is 9 lakhs since it is for the whole year. Then we have got supervisor. We have got 2 persons, 25,000 per month. So that means 25 into 2 is 50,000. 50,000 into 12 happens to be 6 lakhs. I'm putting all cost figures in a bracket. Then you have got nurses, 4 persons, 20,000 rupees per month. That means 20,000 into 4 is 80,000 is the fees per salary per month for 4 nurses, and 80,000 into 12 happens to be 9 lakhs 60. Similarly, there is nothing actually. What boys are there? 5,000 rupees per month into 4. So 5,000 into 4 into 12 is, it is 2,40,000. Then we have got doctors on the basis of patients attended. So we have got doctor's salary. Should I put it into variable or fixed? They have said it is 250,000 rupees per month, but based on the number of patients. So technically this should be into the variable part. We have got repairs, which is 81,000. We have got food to patients variable, other service, laundry variable, medicine variable, other fixed expenses, 10,80,000. And And they have got admin expenses of 10 lakhs. So I've put in all the expenses. You just need to put in the variable expenses now, the doctor's fee. It is 2,50,000 per month, which is 30 lakhs. We have got food to the patients. We have got, which is around 8,80,000. We have got other services, 3 lakhs. I'm just copying. Can you see that how easy that sum is? Laundry charges, medicines, 6 lakhs plus 750 is 13 lakh 50. So all expenses covered up, right? We calculate revenue minus all these costs will give you the profit, which has been printed by ICAI, which is 55,34,000, right? That if you want to find out the profit, now this profit is for all the patients. If you want to do it patients per day, you will do 55,34,000, which you have calculated. This is profit for all the patients. If you divide this by 8,000, you will get out with the profit which you will be getting per patient per day. Am I clear? How does it bother you, Nandi, that how many doctors are getting? Whatever may be the number of doctors, depending on the patients they have seen, the salary which is outflowing from the hospital happens to be 2.5 lakh rupees per month. So technically this appears to be a fixed cost, but it is not a fixed cost, it's a variable cost. Now, bed hire charges, I missed it out. I missed out on the bed hire charges. Okay, actually I copied from there, from here. So bed hire charges would be 750 into 100. That also you will subtract. The question here is all expenses have been subtracted, right? Whatever expenses were there. So subtracting those expenses is not important. Important was this revenue calculation, because else you could not have started this thing. So for calculating that 8,000 days, that was the important point here, right? Now, since this question talks about a break-even point, and I told you that for break-even point, my sales minus variable cost is actually in costing language called as contribution. It is known as contribution. In costing language, we call it a contribution. Why is the name contribution? Because this is not profit. We still need to subtract fixed costs. So this is like a contribution towards the fixed cost and the profit which I'm going to earn. So that's the logic why this word has been named as contribution. So I know my sales, right? So if I put all my variable cost and subtract it, I will be able to get my contribution, like the way ICAI has done. So the solution is in front of all of you, and you know that your revenue was 1, and if you subtract all the variable cost, right, which is being done by the institute, which is 56 lakh 5,000. So here what was important is why this sum is of so much of importance. Rest of the expenditures, ICAI was very clear telling me that these are variable, right? Whether it was food or whether it was other expenses or anything. Only challenge here was if a student will treat that doctor's fees to be a fixed expense. If a student will treat that to be a fixed expense, their break even will be wrong. So if this is an 8-marker question, I will give 3 marks for the first part and 5 marks for the second part if I want to make the paper tough. Because I want to understand if I think like ICAI, that if I want to understand that whether my student understands this concept of fixed variable, that whether my student understands the concept of patient days, do they understand the industry? Then what all are the places where I would like to catch upon the student? So guys, I would like to catch upon the student on the patient days. One thing. Second thing is, do they understand variable and fixed? So if the doctor's fees is put into the fixed, my break-even point will be wrong. And doctor's fees is variable because they have made it very clear while writing it down that doctor's fee is 250,000 per month, paid on the basis of number of patients attended and the time spent by them. How many doctors were there? That's not relevant for me. But they have told me that 250,000 averagely is what is an outflow as far as the salaries of the doctors were concerned. And yes, this is variable. So these are the only two things which ICAI wanted to check as far as this question is concerned. We get out with contribution. If a student does everything correct, he gets full marks. 1 crore, 3,95,000 is the contribution, right? And we will have the fixed costs, the total fixed costs, which we have calculated, happens to be some 48,61,000. Then the way we did it in the last sum when I was explaining you that if for per unit, this is the contribution. So similarly, you'll have to calculate this per patient day in order to find out what is your contribution per day of the patient when he is admitted into the hospital. We'll get out with some 1299.375. And when you divide this with 1299.375, you will get out that you need 3741 patient days in order to break even. After these days, whatever you are getting from your patient after subtracting the variable cost is absolutely revenue for the hospital. Are you clear? So the two things, one is to understand the industry. Second thing is, when there is a concept like as break-even point, you need to be very particular on the variable and the fixed cost. The language of the institute will be very clear, but you also need to catch on it. Then institute has given us another industry, which happens to be an IT industry. So can we have a look at that particular industry, please? Okay. If you have followed this, anything which you want to ask me? I open up the PDF. What is the sum which I want you people to take up? So I would like each of us to take up illustration 9. They have talked about IT industry. They have talked about the what is the characteristic feature of an IT industry. They say that in case of an IT industry, the services of IT may be used for provision of services for outside customers. Aap sabko pata hai, there is a huge IT team which is required at everything. Right now in COVID, the importance of IT is very well established to all of us. In addition, employee costs, significant overhead costs for offering the services are incurred and classified as service overhead. To arrive at the cost incurred, it is necessary to allocate an apportion to such cost to the fixed cost. They have said that, what do you mean by an IT industry? What are the direct manpower? Which are the support manpower? They have, institute has made it very clear in a typical software implementation projects, 3 to 4 levels of manpower would directly be engaged. For example, a software engineer, a project leader, or a project manager, or a project, what you can say, a program manager, right? They have been very clear. ICAI, by giving you this theory, has tried to tell you that which are the manpower in an IT industry, which I'll call it as a direct staff, and which will be the staff, which will be a support staff. For example, a quality assurance team, a testing team, a staffing team, right? They will be more of a fixed character. A program manager, for doing this particular project, I need a program manager. That will be more of a variable character. So they have told us that various costs will be involved when we talk about IT industry. Of course, there are the hardware costs and the software costs are there. If we can associate them directly with the project, fair enough. If they are not directly cannot be directly associated with the project, then they are known as service overhead. There are expenses which are incurred on training and traveling of these IT people. They're very clear. If they are directly identifiable with the project, they are directly allocated. But if they are not directly identifiable, then they are treated as service overheads. The basic intention of IT while teaching you IT industry is, the institute is wanting you to be very clear that this IT industry is a service industry wherein we all understand that, okay, how does an IT industry function? All of us call food from Zomato. Now, of course, there is again an IT team involved here. How the orders will be received. Hotel industry is there. I'm calling pizza from the Domino's. Now, Domino's is another service industry, but Domino's is able to reach up to the people is because of the various the program which has been made, wherein people can place an order. They can see that what all menus are available. We can click there, go down, place an order. So this whole IT is the need of the hour. They work they work as a support staff in every possible work nowadays, I should say. I'm not talking about, right? So we need to understand that these IT people, if I have to define that, okay, the salaries are direct salaries or indirect salaries, so we should understand that, okay, if it's a specific project, then then the program manager of that specific project is the direct person or the program manager. But the quality assurance guy or the person who is looking at the hiring part of the people is not the direct guy, right? Just give me 2 minutes. I will just attach my laptop with the battery. Okay, so they are being very clear that whether it is training expenditure, whether it is hardware expenditure, if it is directly relatable to the project, we call it a direct cost. But if it is not directly relatable to the project, we call it to be an indirect cost. It's a service overhead. So that's the way ICAI has explained us some theory. This is not theory. You must read it, right? Or in order to understand that particular industry. Can we do illustration 9? So illustration 9 happens to be, following is the data pertaining to Infotech Private Limited. Infotech Private Limited. Okay. So let's look at the sum. Okay. Salary to software engineers is 15 lakhs. Salary to project leaders is 9 lakhs. Salary to a project manager, repairs and maintenance, admin expenses they're given us. Company executes a project XYZ. Details are as follows. Project duration is 6 months. 1 project leader and 3 software engineers were involved for the entire duration of the project. Now you guys tell me, this 1 project leader and these 3 software engineers, can their costs be directly associated with the project? If yes, they are direct costs. If no, they are service overheads. Whereas project manager spends 2 months effort during the execution of the project. Travel expenses were so and so, 2 laptops for project purchased at a cost of 50,000 each for use in the project, and the life of the same is estimated to be 2 years. They have told me to prepare a project cost sheet, a beautiful sum, not the way a normal service costing sum goes. They've all asked me to calculate the project sheet. Now for the project sheet, I will have to see what are my direct expenses and what all are my overhead expenses, so that I charge them and I find out the per unit cost. Am I good? Is everybody understanding what I'm trying to say? So looking at this, can you tell me which are my direct costs? Which all people are my direct cost? One is the project leader, which I think is very clear that the project leader, one project leader is there. 3 software engineers are there, and they were involved for the whole project. And the project manager was there only for 2 months. So we have the salaries. We have got the salaries of software engineers. So software engineers, 5 software engineers are there, right? Can we take up all those engineers? What do I do? How do I start my sum? Which expenses are my overheads and which expenses are my direct costs? Can you people tell me? Can anybody tell me which expenses are my overheads? 3 people, project leaders, software engineers, and even the project manager. Okay, I don't get any answer. So I do it my way. First of all, which expenses are overheads? Definitely the repair and the admin expenses. They are definitely my overheads. So 3 lakhs and 12 lakhs. The depreciation of the laptops is also a direct expenditure because it is, I can see it is used for the project. So my total overheads happens to be 15 lakhs. Salaries and all has been given to me, right? Now what do? I just make the project sheet. I would have done that. So project cost, salary, 3 in software engineers are there. I'm only doing it for the project, right? 3 software engineers are there. They are being paid. Software engineers are being paid 15 lakhs. So can I find out per month? Because this project is only for 6 months. So can I do that? 15 lakhs divided by 12 months. Yes. Do I get the salary of one person? Do I get the salary of one person? So it is 15 lakhs divided by 12 months. I get out with the salary of 1.25 for 5 software professionals per month. Now, if I divide this by 5, will I get it per month? Divided by 5, I get out with 0.25. Yes? Expenses other than salaries constitute overhead. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. But look at it. I'm not doing the way ICAI has done it. I'm doing it my way. Once I understand, okay, this particular expenditure is a direct cost, I'm calculating it my way. But look at it, my way will be easier, or what ICAI has done it easier. Since we understand all these people, whether it is the software engineer, whether it is a project leader or the project manager, all these 3 people are direct expenditures. So I would need to know their salary per month. So that has to be a part of my working note. Yes or no? So I know the salary of my software engineer is 25,000 per month. And he's working on the project for 6 months. So you can do a working note wherein you can calculate all this, right? Okay. So how much do I get out with? 3 into 25,000 is 75,000 into 6. I do it. Okay. This is what are the, first of all, we need to understand what are the direct expenses and what are the indirect expenses of this IT industry. Now, let us say I'm rubbing the board. I'm an IT company, right? Anu Agarwal IT company, right? I have got 4 people as people who can program, I have got 2 people who can actually supervise. And of course, I am there, so there is a leader, right? So I've got 1 leader. This is my setup of people. So I've got basically 7 employees. Dhruv, imagine a company, right? So it is a Anu Agarwal IT company. I've got 7 employees with me. Somebody's into programming, somebody's into software parts, somebody's into hardware part, whatever, right? And of course, my office will have administration expenses, repairs and maintenance, all those expenses. Now, when I have to find out, now we people, how does my organization works? We get projects. I've got a project worth which will take 2 months of my time. I've got a project which will take 6 months of my time. So I need to cost per project. I hope I'm very clear through. I need to cost per project, right? So in this particular sum, if you'll actually see this project, they were very clear. You need 3 software guys. You need 1 program manager, 1 project leader. He'll be there for 6 months. He'll be there for 6 months, and this person will be there for 2 months. Right? So what do? I know the salaries. How can I calculate the salaries? They have given me, like in case of software, they have told me there are 5 people in the software industry, and the total salary for the whole year happens to be 5 lakhs per annum. So what do? 15 lakhs divided by 5, then I get the salary of 1 person in a year, yes or no? Which is how much? 15 lakh divided by 5. That means each person is getting 3 lakhs per annum. And if I want to make it per month, what do? 3 lakhs divided by 12. So I get out with 25,000 rupees per month. Similarly, I can do it for the program manager. Similarly, I can do it for the leader. Yes, Dhruv. Why am I doing all this? Because I need to find out the cost of the project. I need to find out the cost of 1 project. Am I good? Okay. I hope you have understood. So since there's a lag, by the time you inform me, I proceed with my sum. So guys, our salaries, since we had calculated, I can just copy. It was 7,75,000 on this project. But now I need to add the overheads. Now these overheads, how do I add? What methodology do we have? What method? My head, that whether you've understood or not. Okay. So how do I find out my overheads? My overheads were repair and my admin. My repair and my admin. Yes. So repair and admin, his total was 15 lakhs. How do I absorb it? As you people can see that traveling expenses are very clear. Travel expenses which are there are very clear. They have told me that how much is there for the project, 1,87,500. The laptops which were being used, so I can directly associate the depreciation also. So it is basically, there are laptops, 50,000 each. So I've got 2 laptops, 1 lakh. Yes, for each of the project, and the life of this is for how many? 2 years. Yes, but they have been used in the project for 6 months. So the depreciation I will charge will be 25,000. Now these expenses are characteristic to the project, and they may differ. And whenever we are doing it, we need to calculate, right? But these overheads, don't you think we can relate it to the direct wages which I'm paying? The direct wages which I'm paying, I can associate to that. So when my total direct wages of my supervisor, of my software professional, project manager, and project manager has been given to me as how much? It has been given to me 15 lakh plus 9 lakh for the whole year plus 6 lakhs. I know these salaries. Yes or no? The total of this is how much? 30 lakhs. So can I relate that, okay, if my direct wages are 30 lakh, my overall overhead expenses are 15 lakh. So can I find out my overhead rate as a percentage of wages or salaries, you can call it? Right. No, Nandi, you are getting it wrong. We have to add repairs and administration expenses divided by 2. No, it is not because we have to divide it by 2. We need to understand why are we doing it. So please hear what I'm telling you. My overhead expenses are 15 lakh when my total wages, which I'm going to pay on of this particular organization, happens to be 15 lakhs for the software professionals, 9 lakh for the project leader, and 6 lakhs for the project manager. So total of this happens to be 30 lakhs. So that means when 30 lakhs of wages are being paid, then 15 lakhs is my overheads. So can I find out a relationship? That means whatever my wages are, 50% of it has to be added as overheads. Now I can price my project. So if 7,75,000 was the salary or the direct wages which I was paying, my overheads is going to be 50% of it, which turns out to be how much it is? 3,87,500. And by adding up all this, I will get the cost of the project. And that's how IT people do it. Aditya, 1 lakh divided by 2 into 6 lakh, that's depreciation. Okay, okay, perfect. So whatever the figure comes out to be, the total 13,75,000. Friends, this is the way IT people do it. They are a service industry. They look into the time, the expenses which are associated to that project, and then accordingly they do it. So I hope we are very, very clear with the IT industry as well. Nothing much to be talked about. The transport industry, nothing much to be. Is everybody very clear on this? The IT industry, how do we do it? Now we talk about, they've talked about the toll roads and the highway projects and the construction industry basically. So they say that for a construction industry, we have got capital costs, like we need to acquire the land, we need to acquire the project, there are a lot of pre-operative expenses, right? So they tell us that there are operating expenses, there are maintenance expenses, there are toll taxes which need to be paid. So there are certain expenses which are again specific to the bridge. If I'm a construction industry and you tell me to build a bridge from X place to Y place, then whatever direct expenses will be there associated to that building of that bridge will be the direct expenses. But then I'll have to add up the overheads which are not directly associated, but we'll have to charge them. So in this IT industry, or in this case of construction industry, we need to identify that for taking up that particular project, what are the direct costs? And then we'll have to find out a methodology of absorbing the overheads on the basis of those direct expenses and finding out the cost of that project, right? Depreciation, Aditya, has to be 25,000 only, no? Depreciation has to be how much? Written down depreciation as 25,000 instead of 3 lakhs. Why will it be 3 lakhs? The total laptop cost, each laptop is of how much? Yeah. Each laptop is of 50,000. Each laptop is of 50,000. There are 2 laptops. So the cost of the laptops is 1 lakh. There is no scrap value. They have a life of 2 years. 50,000 into 6 by 12. So it is 25,000. Okay. So that's how you calculate the depreciation on the laptops. Right. So we take up the next illustration, and that is going to be on the toll roads and all. So can we look at illustration 10? Can we look at illustration 10? Illustration 10 is BHG Toll Plaza. BHG Toll Plaza. This is the sum, right? I hope, Aditi, you have understood how depreciation was calculated. I did not put 6 by 12 because the project was of 6 months. So I was assuming that when we have calculated it, we are doing it for 6 months, right? So Aditya, that has to be a little bit understood, because obviously if I'm doing it for 1 year, if I multiply it by 6, it will become 6 years, right? Okay. So now, but I was continuously speaking, right? So you need to be a little more attentive. That's all. No worries. Okay. So yes. Okay. Now, so we understood how the contract construction industry work. They take up, again, more like an IT industry. They take up projects, like they have given us build, operate, and then transfer. The government gives me a project that, okay, even in this toll naka, this happens. This toll naka, the government says, okay, this toll, I'll give it to you. You operate it for 3 years, and once it is completely operational, then you transfer it to the government, right? So these are uh, the construction industry is, you need to understand what you need to understand about a construction industry is when they take up projects. So you, again, the way we did it for IT, depending on how information has been given to us, it is for the month of April, right? So that means all per month, right? So how do we start the sum? Can we calculate that how many vehicles are there? How many vehicles are there? How many vehicles are there? It is 60 crores vehicles for 10 years. So if I divide this by 10, I get 6 crores per year. Yes. Now, if I divide this by 12, will I get it per month, or do I need to do something more? It is 60 crore vehicles will be using the highway during 10-year toll collection period. And we have to do it for the month of April. Not been informed, Shoaib. What do I do? How much do I get? 6 crores divided by 12. Okay, so 6 crores divided by 12. So I get out with 50 lakh. 60 crores are for throughout this period of 10 years. That means it'll be 50 lakhs. Okay, Vijay Shankar, we have got 12 crores vehicle in our textbook. Okay, so figure Okay, 12 crores. So if it is 12 crore, then 12 years, and if for per month you want to do it, divided by 12, and you will get the answer. How much is it? Yes, it is 10 lakh per month, right? So it's the same. Okay, now I thought it's a new PDF. Okay, so if there is any other figure which is different, you can actually tell me that if there is any other figure which is different. Now, can we do the calculations for the month of April? So we make the cost sheet. Can we just start doing the expenses, please? Okay. They are giving me salary. This will be my working note. This will be my final figure. This is for the month of April. Figures are in rupees. Okay, so the collection personnel is working 3 shifts. He's working 3 shifts. And there are 4 people per shift. Okay. And he is being paid 550 rupees. If there is any change in this figure, you can always let me know. In my book, it is 550 per day, right? And of course, the April month has got 30 days. Yes. So can we do the calculation, please? So it is 3 shifts into 4 person into 30 days into 550. Can you tell me the answer, please? I do the calculation. 1,98,000. Then there is a supervisor. Then there's a supervisor. He is 2 shifts into 1 person. And it is 750 per day. And there are 30 days. Yes. So supervisor, how much does it come out to be? 2 into 1, 2, 2 into 750, 1,500 and 230. Right? Quality personnel, 3 shifts, 6 people, 30 days. And you are being paid 450 per day. So if we calculate 3 into 6, 18, 18 into 30. Two lakh. It is 2 shifts, 1 guy, 900. So that comes out to be 54. They have already given me 1.5 crores in the 1, 2, 3, 1.5 crores, right? So we have the depreciation we put in. So can we get out with the total cost? We add up all the expenses and we get out with 194. Yeah, this is my total cost. Now in this, they have told me that we need to charge a profit of 25% over the total cost. Can you add up 25% profit, please? Can you add up 25% profit? 194,80,000 plus 25% is going to be 48 lakh 70,000. This is the total revenue I expect, which is going to be, how much is the total? You can do that. How much is the total? And please do it. Okay. Salary to the supervisor is, you're saying salary to supervisor is 22,500. How come 22,500? Two shifts into one person into, let me calculate. Two shifts. I am doing it from the PDF which is there, and the PDF says, whatever the PDF says, I am doing it like that. Right. So the salary which is printed is this, and in this PDF, Aditya, it has been printed as so. Anybody, any doubt? Can we take up the next sum? Can we take up the next sum? Okay. So we have discussed how many industries till now. We have talked about an IT industry. We have talked about a hotel, holiday home, a hospital, a construction industry, right? Now, I think time for us to look into an educational institution, right? Let's look into an educational institution, right? And do our calculation for an educational institution. I think all of us are aware. How does an educational institution work, right? They've got operating costs, they've got research and development. They have to invest a lot of their money into their publications and books and training of their faculties and teachers, paper checking, so much is there, right? So I would like to read few lines of ICI, which I would like to, all of you should look at it. It's a starting paragraph of education institution. Education institutions like schools, colleges, technical institutions for education are run to impart education and training. The objective of running these institutions may be non-profit. That is, they are not for profit. Like other businesses, of course, इनके भी बहुत सारे खर्चे होते हैं. There are a lot of expenditures, right? The government, local body of any other organization which provides education and training to students with an objective to benefit and uplift the society are also, they need to have their cost and management accounting system for cost benefit analysis, allocation of funds and budgeting, zero-based budgeting, performance measurement and evaluation. So when we are talking about education institution, there will be a lot of qualitative factors, or you can say non-finance factors which will be included. Of course, these people are not into directly into earning profits. That should not be their main objective. Their main objective has to be, they're not a coaching class. The coaching class will have the main objective of earning a profit. But the objective of a school or a college has to be primarily to impart education. So on this particular note, we need to understand whatever said and done. They're not for profit, but still they need to manage their cost. They need to allocate their cost. They need to find out that what is the cost per student they are incurring. Yes or no? So on this note, let us look at illustration 11. Something which was asked from me by one of the students, right? Vijayji, I can't see anything on the screen. I can't see the students. I am not able to see it. Can you please look into? Okay. Now, AD Higher Secondary offers courses for grade 11th and 12th standard in 3 streams: arts, commerce, and science. EHSS runs higher secondary classes along with primary and secondary classes. But for accounting purposes, it treats higher secondary as a separate responsibility center. The managing committee of the school wants to revise its fee structure for the higher secondary students. The accountant of the school has provided us with certain details. There is some other information. They have told us number of students, arts, commerce, and science, primary and secondary. Lab classes, they have given us, they have told us how many examinations are being held, how much time is spent at library by the student, how much time is spent by the principal for admin. We are supposed to calculate the cost per student per annum for all 3 systems, right? Quite a Herculean task, because first of all, we will have to divide all the expenditures, because you can see that there are 3 fields and the teachers are divided, right? So if we have, my screen got lost. Some problem, Vijayji, can you just look into it? I am doing it. but I am not able to see my other question board जो मुझे दिखता है वो मुझे विजय जी नहीं दिख रहा है. I'm not able to see it. मतलब it's as if it's freezed. It's as if it's freezed. So refresh किया मैंने, नहीं हो रहा. I did it. मैं लॉग आउट करके वापस से करूं क्या? तो ठीक है, मैं लॉग आउट करती हूँ. Okay, fair enough. Okay. I can see the questions. Ma'am, it's 150. Okay. 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 I can see it. Okay. Now. Okay. Guys, am I audible? Can you write it down to me and tell me, am I audible? Can you see the screen? All of you? Can you please tell me? Vijayji, it went and it came back again. I do not know. It's playing. Okay, so we do this particular sum. There are teachers, there are 25 teachers, and we are paying them 35,000 of salary. There is principal salary, there are lab attendants, there's so much information they have been given. But guys, how do we start my sum from? First of all, teachers. They told me that we have got 25 teachers, but if you'll actually look at it, we have been given information. One teacher who teaches economics for arts and science also teaches commerce stream. The teacher takes 1,040 classes in a year. It includes 208 classes of commerce classes. There's another teacher who takes mathematics for science stream, also teaches business maths to commerce stream. She takes 1,100 classes in a year, in which 160 classes of commerce students are included. Now, so much of information. They have given us number of students in a year, lab students, teachers. They have given us who were there for standard 11th and 12th. They have told me that there are 4, if I just put in arts, commerce and science, they have told me we have got 4 for arts, we have got 5 for commerce and 6. That means these are dedicated teachers which are there. But when we look at it above, we have got 25 teachers in totality. So 25 teachers in totality would be meaning what? Right. Thank you so much, Shivangini. Right. Thank you so much, Vijay. Right. I think Aditya, you sorted out that problem of that hourly, the day per day salary which was there. Right. Okay. Coming back to this question, it's a long question. So, but I want to do it because one of the students had also asked me. Now, teachers specifically, each teacher is being paid 35,000 rupees per month. So, of course, they are being paid for 12 months. So 35,000 into 12 is going to be 4,20,000 per annum is what they are being paid. So the salary of the specific teachers, we can actually find it out is how much it is. 4 lakh 20 into 4 is going to be 16 lakh 80,000. Then we have got 21 lakhs here, and we have got 6 lakh into 420 would be 25 lakh 20,000 salary. Now we have got an economics and a mathematics teacher, which we will have to divide between economics and mathematics, right? So eco teacher and maths teacher. It's a long question. It'll take a lot of time. Now, eco teacher and maths teacher, if you'll actually look into it, the question is very clear that one teacher who teaches economics, she takes 1,040 classes, and in which we'll have to divide between arts and commerce. And the mathematics teacher is science and commerce. Now, they have given me that out of 1,040 classes, the eco takes 208 classes for the commerce students. That means we are left with 832 classes for the art students. Similarly, the maths teacher gives 160 classes to the commerce student. So we are left with 940 classes for the science student, right? Now, the eco teacher will be belonging to which segment? She was an arts teacher primarily, right? She was an arts teacher primarily. And 4,20,000 salary is what she draws per year. And she teaches in total 1,040 lectures. So don't you think we'll have to segregate into 832 will go into the arts, and 420 divided by 1,040, 4.2 lakhs divided by 1,040 into 208 will go into science, right? Why am I doing this? Because the question is calculate the cost per student per annum for all three streams. So we need to find out, we need to allocate that, okay, what is the salary of the teacher, which I need to allocate to that respective section, okay? I will take the help of the institute material here because there's a lot of calculation, right? Similarly, we will have to divide for the maths teacher as well. Yes, the maths teacher, 4,20,000 divided by 1,100, which he takes up 1,100. 940 will go to science and 160 will go into commerce. Okay, this is it. Now, anything else which we need to do it? We have done the teacher's salary, we have done the economics and mathematics salary. Second would be the principal's salary. There is one principal, but he or she, whoever the principal is, giving time to all the three streams. The lab attendants, right? The library staff, the peons, all this will have to be divided on the basis of time which they are giving to each of these sections. They have been given to us up in the question. So while we'll be doing it, we'll be dividing it. So can we start doing it? So we can do one thing. Instead of solving for all, can we do it only for one stream? Let us say commerce. Rest, art and science, you can do it on your own. Okay, so if we start looking at for the commerce stream, if we want to find out that what is the cost per student for the commerce stream, teacher's salary, we calculated for the commerce stream. It was some 21 lakh for the commerce stream. You can do it for the art and science. Then we had the eco teacher and the maths teacher, their salaries, which we would have apportioned. So it was 4,20,000 divided by The eco teacher was 1040 into 208, and that would have given me the figure of 1,45,091. Now guys, please remember, when I am putting up that expenditure in the commerce stream, I need to subtract that expenditure from the arts and the science stream. For example, let me take up of the eco teacher. Now, eco teacher, 4,20,000 divided by 1,040, and it was 208 classes, right? So, 4,20,000 divided by 1,040 into 208. It was some 84,000. Now this 84,000, since I'm reapportioning into the commerce, I will have to subtract it from the arts, right? Because this eco teacher is of the arts. The expenditure per year salary will have to be divided, no? Because if it is going into any one stream, right? Say I am putting up the whole salary into the art stream, then how much salary should be going to the commerce stream? I should subtract from the art stream and put it into the commerce stream. Similarly, for the maths teacher, 4,20,000 divided by 1,100 lectures into 160, if I'm not wrong. So it was how much? 4,20,000 divided by 1,100 into 160. So it was some 61091. So can you see the total of this, which is there? $61091, 4,000 is 145,091, which is here. So if it is added in the commerce stream, I will subtract 61,091 from the science and 84,000 from the commerce. Do I make sense? If no, I can explain it again, right? Okay. Now, the next expenditure, once we have time spent by the principal for the administration are total 1,400 hours is what is the time which the principal is salary is 14,40,000. Out of this 14,40,000 rupees of salary, if you'll actually look into the time, number of classes, number of examination, time spent by principal for administration is 1,400. Okay. One teacher teaches art science. There's another teacher who teaches maths. One person dedicated to higher secondary, other person gives 15%, all school students. So what do I do for the principal? What do I do for the principal? How much time the principal is giving? How much time they are giving for the administration? How do I divide? It is total salary of the principal happens to be 14,40,000 per annum. Yes, for the whole year. The total hours spent is 1,400 hours. And in our commerce section, she is spending some 312 hours. Can we apportion it? So 14,40,000 divided by 1,400 into 3,112. It comes out to be some 3,20,914. This is the expenditure which comes out, which we need to apportion it on the principal's salary. Is it correct? Am I correct? 14,40,000 salary. I have apportioned it on the basis of 1400 hours, time spent by principal for administration, for arts, for commerce, and for science. So for commerce, I can see 312 hours. 312 plus 480 plus 208. Is it, what have I done is correct? This 1400 hours is correct? No, this 1400 plus I had to add up all those hours, which was 312 plus 480 plus 208. Because this primary and secondary, total hours for primary and secondary is 1400. And if you add up 208 plus 312, you'll realize it is not 1400. Right? So time spent by the principal is 1400 plus 208 plus 312 plus 480. So this is 2400 hours. Now, if you'll divide it, it comes out to be 14,40,000 divided by 2400 hours into 312. I get some 1,87,200. Thank you, Vijay. Thank you. Yes, the time spent by the principal is 2400 hours. Thank you so much. Okay, so am I clear? Next, after the principal, we have, so we just need to just keep on dividing. Then we have got the lab assistant. I think now the question is easy. The lab assistant salary. The lab assistant salary. If you look at the lab assistant, what is the information given to me about the lab assistant salary? To the lab assistant, 2 into 15,000 into 12 months. And let us look any information which is given to me. Anything for the lab assistants? Time spent for the principal, teacher for 11-12 standard. Time spent for the library. Lab classes in a year. No lab classes for commerce students. There are lab classes only for the science student and for the primary and secondary. So lab assistant salary is going to be 0 for us. Next, we have got salary to the library staff. Salary to the library staff. I think now you people can do this sum, right? So library staff, we have already been given time spent by the library. So our commerce students are spending some 120 hours. Total hours are how many? 120 plus 180 is 300. 300 plus 240 is going to be 540. 540 plus 60 is going to be 600. And we have the salary of the library staff, which is 1,44,000. And if we calculate, do we get this figure? 1,20,000 divided by 600 into 1,44,000. So it is some 28,800. Do we have this in the answer? Yes, the library staff is 28,800. Similarly, guys, we will do it for the other staff. We'll put in for the peon, we put in for the staff, other stuff. So I'm just putting in for the peon is 94,909 on a similar basis, on the basis of time which has been spent. Other staff, it is 1,15,200. Similarly, examination expenses is examination expenses have been on the basis of number of students and on the basis of examinations which are being held. So we just add those expenditures. We have the office and admin expenses, we have the annual day, we have got the sports day. And once we have got the total expenditures, we have got the total expenses from the commerce students, which is coming out, if you can actually see, 34,32,000. Commerce students have been given to us. There are 360 commerce students. We just divide this expenditure by 360 and we will get out with the cost which we should be charging or the cost per commerce student. And in that, we are going to add up the profit and we'll get the fees which we should be charging from one commerce student. Right? It's quite a lengthy sum. My intention was just to tell you how to divide the expenditure. So I hope you'll be able to manage it. Any doubt, any problem, please let me know. That any particular thing you were not able to solve, you can please let me know. And guys, then we have got financial institutions. We have got financial institutions. So when we talk about financial institutions, they have said that for financial institutions, I would just like to read out what ICAI says. From the past 2 decades, financial institutions have gone a major change. There's a lot of competition, logically, globally, innovations, new products. Over and above the challenges posed by providing environment as described above, financial institutions underwent considerable change in terms of high quality, sensitive staffing and requirements and its productivity. Manpower costs other than interest and finance charge is one of the largest single cost component of a finance institution. Okay, you want how the examination expenses have been done? I'll do it. Let me finish reading this. ICAI has tried to now tell you about financial institutions, right? So they are talking about that the major expenditure of financial institutions is so the manpower cost other than interest and finance is one of the highest costs. Hence, it is needless to say that financial institutions are more interested in understanding and discovering the ways to actually accurately allocate their costs so that the cost per unit they're charging from the customer gets reduced. I was just reading it from the ICAI material. Okay, you want the peon's salary and you want to do the examination expense. Okay. Okay. So I think the last part in the service industry happens to be a financial institution. Financial institutions, all of us know, these NBFCs, the banks, people, and you know how important they are as an organization. And yes, the major, they are a service industry, the major expenditure is on the manpower. They are actually wanting to know that how we can actually allocate and reduce our costs so that, you know, the per unit cost for servicing a customer can get reduced, right? Now, I will not be doing the sum. I am actually going to look into the doubt which Vijay and Shivangini has asked me. And I would expect that this financial institution sum, you'll be doing it. And in the next class, you can ask me the doubt. So Vijaya wants to know about the examiner expense. Okay, so let's look into okay. Examination expenditure happens to be 10,80,000. I have to allocate this. Examination expenditure is 10,80,000. They have told me number of examinations in a year for I'm taking up for the commerce student. It is 2 examination. In fact, for all people, there were 2 examinations. And how many students are there? For the arts, there were 120, 360, 180, and 840. These are the number of students which have been done. Number of examinations which were taken in a year were 2. So number of examinations which were taken up in totality. Any other information which is being given for examination? No. So it is 240 examinations for art, 720 examinations for the commerce, 360 examinations for the science students, and 1680 examinations for the primary and secondary students. So total examinations. Friends, it's very easy. You need to read the question. Total examinations are, I wanted you to do this particular aspect, but you're wanting me to solve, so I'll do it. Plus 360 plus 1680. So 3,000 examinations were being conducted. So 10,80,000 divided by 3,000, and to the commerce student, I will allocate 720 because I was doing only for commerce. So it'll be 10,80,000 divided by 3,000 into 720. 2,59,200 should be the figure. Let's check our answer. Has Institute done it this way, or there is another answer? Examination paper. Can you see it is 2,59,200, right? Okay. Now, next you wanted for the peon. I'll do it for the peon. Okay. Now the peon. One peon is fully dedicated for higher and secondary. Other peons dedicated their 15% for higher secondary section. Okay. So how many peons are there? There are 4 peons. So out of this, 1 peon goes into higher secondary. 3 peons. Other peons dedicate 15% for higher secondary. So 15% for higher secondary. So that means I am left with the salary of 3 peons. So the salary of 3 peons happens to be, how much? 10,000 per month and into 12. So can be calculated 10,000 per month into 12 into 3. So 3,60,000. Of this, I will take up only 85% because that is what I need to divide. Rest, everything will go into the higher secondary. So 3,60,000 into my 85%. So 3,06,000 salaries of the peon I will divide between arts, commerce, and science. The rest, 1 peon ka salary, that is 10,000 into 12 months plus 54,000 from here will all go to higher secondary. That's what the question says. Now further, what is the time apportionment which has been given for the peon? What has been given for the peon? Any information further which has been given for the peon? Anything which has been given for the peons? Let me check it out. Higher secondary, any time spent by the principal, time spent for library, number of examination, lab classes. Okay. So how do I divide this 3,06,000? How do I divide this 3,06,000 which needs to be divided? Don't you think it should be on the basis of number of students? It should be on the basis of number of students. One is I can divide it equally, but then that is not correct because we don't have the same set of students as far as arts, commerce, and science is concerned. We have around how many students? We have 120 in arts, and we have got 360 in commerce, and we have got 180 in science. Anyways, for primary and secondary, I have anyways allocated. So don't you think now this 3,06,000 I need to allocate between this? So let us try doing it. Are we correct or not? So 120 plus 360 plus 180. So we've got 660 students in totality. Can we divide the expenditure? 3,06,000 divided by 660 into my commerce field. I was just doing for commerce field. It comes out to be some 166,909. So can we check how much is being allocated salary to the peon? 3,06,000, 10,000 per month into 12 months is 3,60,000. Yes, and 85% of their time, so it is 3,06,000. I divided on the number of students. I get out with 1 lakh. Okay. I'll do it again. Three peons. Three peons into 10 months into 12. So 3 peons into 10,000 into 12 is 3,60,000. And they give 15% of their time. 3,60,000 is for primary. Oh, we were doing the other way around. Oh, okay. So for science commerce, it was 15%. Okay. So 3,60,000 into 15%. No. What does the question say? It says one peon is fully dedicated for higher secondary. Other peons dedicate 15% of their time for higher secondary. Oh, higher secondary is art, science, and commerce. Oh. Primary was separate. Okay. So one peon into 10,000 into 12 is 1,20,000. Higher secondary is art, science, commerce. Plus 3 peons into 10,000 into 12. Their 15% time is 54,000. So it is 1,74,000. Now this I divide between arts, commerce, and science on the basis of number of students. Number of students is 120, 360, and 180. So can you divide this? It is 1,74,000 divided by 660 into 360. You get some 94,909. Similarly, you can do it for science, and similarly, you can do it for arts. Okay. So guys, after doing this sum, you would have realized one thing about service industry. One is getting into the concept. One is the logic. What is service industry? Institute has tried to cover up every possible service industry, from financial institutions to IT to insurance to a library to a transport industry to every possible industry. I have touched upon almost like all possible industries which are there, right? We have got, after this, we have got an insurance company. We have got a banking and financial industry, right? And of course, there is only one sum, which is there's question number 12, question number 13, right? They have a powerhouse industry, right? So they have given 2-3 more sums for it, and that is a powerhouse, a financial institution, an insurance company. Yeah, they have instituted tried to touch upon every possible service industry. But I think you have got the methodology of doing it. So I think I have left only 3 sums for you people to do it. One is from an insurance industry, one is from a financial industry, and one is financial, one is power, one is insurance. Yes. Methodology of doing it remains the same. It remains the same. We need to understand how that service industry is. For example, if I talk about a banking industry or construction industry was interesting because there you pick up a project and you need to find out the cost per project. So guys, on this note, I would like to end my session for today. And just like to tell you that service costing happens to be one of the easiest topics, but at the same time, a very, very extensive topic. Thanks to ICAI for giving me a topic which requires so much of your understanding along with your mathematical skills for doing that particular question. Usually earlier, we were only giving, when we were doing service industry, we were only giving one kind of sum to the students, that is students who have done service costing before the syllabus was revised. But then it was thought by us that no, we need to give an insight to the students that there are the ways in which a service industry operates, an educational institution, and a construction industry, an IT industry, a transport industry, a school, so many different industries. Their way of operations is very, very different, the way they do it, right? So now just 3 sums, 3 illustrations, right? That is illustration 12, 13, and 14. I would like you to solve it. And in the next class, when we are meeting on 17th, you can always ask me a doubt if there is anything which you have not followed, right? Thank you so much. Have a great Sunday. Enjoy yourself. And see you next week on a Saturday with your doubts on service costing, and we'll start up with marginal costing. So I would be entertaining those sums 12, 13, and 14 if at all you have a doubt of service industry. Thank you so much. It was nice having you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you guys. It's a pleasure teaching you all. Bye-bye.